Here we have a board that was mailed in. Customer said it's a monitor board. I do not know what type of monitor has so many HDMI ports, but we do not really care what this board does. It was mailed here because he said one of the HDMI ports is damaged, and he labeled it with this paper here. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 HDMI ports. One of them is damaged and he wants it changed. Let's take a look at the damaged port and see what's going on. The port is this one right here. Pins on the back. They do not look damaged, they look good. Let me take a look at the customer's ticket and see what he wrote. My daughter bent the monitor, one HDMI port socket. It no longer works. Please install a new HDMI connector. All right. Now the customer requested expedited service. What that means is customer pays $49 more and we work on his device same day or the following day. But for this customer, we had to special order this connector. This is a special type of connector that has a plate with a screw hole. We had to special order this connector and it took a couple of days to get it. We got it today and we're gonna finish his board today so we can mail it out to him tomorrow. Right now it's 5:40. We cannot mail it today, but we're gonna finish it today so this goes out tomorrow. Look at this, the port is damaged. You see? Damaged pin here. We have damage here. So we have to change that connector. And this one is the second one from the right. So this is port number 1 and port number 2. We do not want to desolder the wrong port. So right now we know that it's port number 2. We're going to start by applying low melt solder on those 4 legs. And what low melt does is it lowers the melting temperature of solder that's already on the board, which is unleaded. And by doing so, we can use less heat to pry that connector off the board. Right now, if I want to apply hot air to remove that connector, I will have to expose the board to a lot of heat, and the board itself must reach melting temperature in order for that port or in order for solder to liquefy. I do not want to expose the board to a lot of heat. We do not want to damage the board, so we use low melt solder. We have some comments where viewers are asking, can I use low melt solder to actually solder a component? No, you only use it if you want to desolder. Low melt solder is weak and it should not be used to solder a component. It's only used to desolder. We use Flux so solder can flow nicely. See, it only takes a little bit of low melt solder. A tiny bit of low melt goes a long way. The leg is loose. We're gonna do the same thing here. Leg is loose. And the leg is loose. Great. Now let's apply low melt solder to the front pins. And that would be the safest way to remove this connector off the board. We still have some low melt solder on the tip. So I'm just soaking those pads with low melt solder. Low melt solder comes in sticks of 6. Looks something like this. And a tiny bit of low melt goes a long way. So I took a small piece out and now I'm gonna put whatever is left in the tube here. You can purchase low melt solder off our website. And you will thank me for low melt solder. It works like magic. Now that we applied low melt solder onto the connector, I want to show you how easy it is to remove that connector. Okay, so right now we're going to apply heat on back of the board. And we're going to desolder this connector here. I have a board holder under so we can raise that board a bit so we can pull down on the connector. I did something wrong. I did something wrong. I applied low melt solder on two of the legs of this port and low melt solder on two of the legs of the third port. So the mistake that I did, let me show it to you under the microscope. The first HDMI port has 4 legs, 2 and 2. The second HDMI port, which is the damaged one, has 4 legs, 2 and 2. So I should have applied low melt solder here and here. But rather, I got confused talking and working at the same time. I applied low melt solder on the right side of the second HDMI port and on the left side of the third HDMI port. So what I'm gonna do is wick off low melt solder from here and apply leaded solder. We do not want to leave low melt on those joints. Low melt is weak. And we're gonna proceed to working on HDMI port number 2. And we wicked those 2 legs clean off. Let's apply leaded solder. Leaded solder. And we're gonna apply leaded solder right over here. And HDMI port number 3 is better than factory now. I mean, I'm glad this happened so I can show you that mistakes do happen. I could have easily not spoke about this or edited the video so you do not see it. But making mistakes is part of being a human being. So now let's make sure that we are applying low melt solder on the right legs. So we have the first port here, 2 and 2. And now we're gonna apply low melt solder right over here. Grab a low melt solder stick. And that's a tiny one right here. Okay, the leg is moving now, very good. And now we're gonna do the same thing here. Go over this one more time and go over this one more time and we should be all good. Now all we have to do is, let me maybe go under this camera here. I want to raise up the board a bit. We're gonna hit the board from the bottom here and let's see how long it takes to desolder this port. Look at this. Only took a few seconds. Only took a few seconds. The magic of low melt solder. Let's wick low melt solder off the board. And we're gonna use our premium wick. You can find that wick on our website, NorthridgeFix.com. Click on shop. I wanna show you how easy it is to remove solder from the holes. I see a lot of people on YouTube, they struggle to take solder off the holes because of using a cheap wick. Let's start from here. Look at that. Look at that. Look. One time. Okay, so let's flip the board, solder the legs, and we'll come back to the front and finish off soldering the front pins. So we need flux here, 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 and here. Better than factory. Look at those nice shiny solder blobs. You can see yourself with them, just like a mirror. Who needs a mirror? Just look at them, fix your hair. Ladies, do your makeup. Beautiful. Okay. So we soldered 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's finish soldering the front pins. I mean, we did most of the front pins, but we just need to get rid of the bridge right over here. Solder wick. And look at how the solder wick is going to absorb. Look at that. The solder wick is tough. It has a lot of braids. That's what makes it absorb a lot of solder and quick. Let's clean up and we'll test the pins, make sure all 19 pins are solid. If yes, the job is done and the board is ready to ship out to the customer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, super solid. Honestly, better than factory. Let's do one final cleanup on the back here. Awesome. Job, very well done. And that's the port that we soldered. Fume extractor off. And that's it. The board is ready to ship out. That's the port that we soldered right here. And now the user has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ports to use instead of 9. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions. And we'll do something else in the next video.